Today I'm going to be talking about a very serious subject that you probably already know about. A few days ago, a man by the name of George Floyd was murdered by a police officer while he was placed under arrest. The circumstances of his arrest are irrelevant. The man is dead.
A man was killed. His life was ended. "Don't kill me," George Floyd says as his last words. His life should not be over, and his name needs to be heard. George Floyd, a father and a person. A human who lost their life because of the color of their skin.
Fusion. I'm fucking with the movement. And I've been trying to donate to the right causes, and I also will be donating everything that I get this stream towards a Black Lives movement.
A man was killed by a cop, George Floyd. If you've seen the footage, you're likely as upset as anyone else that saw it. It's just absolutely disgusting to watch. He kept his knee on his neck, which led to him saying, "I can't breathe," going on and on and on for 9 minutes. While the other officers just watched. They all need to be charged. Something needs to be done. This is a problem. I'm gonna divide all the donations that I get today into 3 different parts. I wanted the first part to be towards the victim, George Floyd, and many others that have died, and I'm going to just split that third as best as I can. The second thing is the charity that I wanted to support, which is the Sentencing Project. This is a really good charity, and the more I looked into this, the more I realized just how fucked up the American criminal justice system is.
George Floyd was an African American man, and there's a long storied history of African American men and women being murdered or abused while being placed under arrest. I've always said that I want to leave the world a better place than I found it. When I'm gone, I want the future generations to be able to enjoy peace and prosperity. In the description, I'm going to leave a link to a charity, an organization called Campaign Zero. They are dedicated to ending police violence in America, or at the very least, ensure that justice is always served when it is due. I will be making a contribution to this charity, and I encourage you to do the same or contribute to many of the other causes that people are linking on social media, on Twitter, on various other sites, or other YouTube videos.
We all have a voice. We need to stand up for what is right and stick together.
George Floyd spent a counterfeit $20 bill, and the police were called on him. And by all means, he probably didn't even know that the $20 was counterfeit. And the result of that call was that an officer held his knee on his neck for 9 minutes straight as he cried repeatedly he couldn't breathe. Onlookers pleaded with the police to let off him, that he was dying, that he was losing consciousness. 3 officers stood there and watched and let it happen as people cried and shouted and pleaded to just let him breathe. I will be donating $10,000 to Campaign Zero, which is behind 8 Can't Wait.
So I think today we'll go to the sad, lonely corner of the internet where some old, outdated fuck with right-wing opinions decides that his is the most important. And that if you have any altering opinion, that basically we'll just compile a list for our shitty fucking users who are anti-PC to go and harass you. So I showed you the definition of a traitor, which according to this fucking lonely goddamn fuck in the corner of the internet, it's anybody that has a different opinion. Basically, if you sympathize with George Floyd in any sort of way, you're a left-wing fanatic piece of shit libtard who eats off of Hillary Clinton's taint. I don't know. I mean, this guy's just a fucking crazy lunatic. I really think he is. And it's not even the first time that this guy's been an asshole, because he was in another one called Gamergate or some dumb shit. No, I'm kidding. But he was in the other one, basically where it was just if you go anywhere towards liberal PC agendas, that your entire thing will crash. It's, get woke, get broke campaign. Which I'm not going to sit here and try to argue the little schematics included in that, and that sometimes if people push too hard to try to associate all the audiences to be inclusive, it hurts their movie and Okay, it is true in a manner of speaking, but I'm not saying that you shouldn't be inclusive to these groups. So you're trying to do it to include everybody, to get them to come in to watch your movie, to gain money off of them. They're not fucking stupid, dude. They're not going to play your shitty video game just because you're trying to rope them in by using feminism as some sort of marketing ploy. You know, same with movies. People saw right through it. I mean, they're not dumb. And even the people that they were trying to rope in, they were basically just, you know, pissed on. But this guy today decided that instead of just letting bygones be bygones, we'll call everybody who disagrees with me a fucking traitor. Because I'm a sad, lonely coward. Why don't you look up the definition of coward? That's when you hide your face, don't show any pictures of yourself so you can claim anonymity, which is what you do, and then hide behind some IP address like a keyboard warrior, which you are. Basically, you just want to shit on people without recourse because you're a coward. You are the definition of a coward. If you just go on it and look through his site, I mean, you'll see. This guy's just a right-wing agendaed guy who tries to put his opinion in everywhere, and then he tries to blanket it under some sort of relative term by saying it's gamer culture. You know, we're anti-PC, we're anti-stay woke. No, you're nothing. You're a right-wing nut who likes to blanket under this term so you can protect yourself and get a closeted group of people and include them by saying you're a gamer. I mean, you're not a gamer. You're a lonely old man behind a keyboard with right-wing politics shoved up your ass to the point that you're Donald Trump's fuck puppet, and then to try to put together a list of a compilation of deeds of people who even supported George Floyd or supported the fact that there is statistically some evidence that points to if you are black that you will be incarcerated at a greater amount, or if you are black that a traffic stop you're going to be treated differently, which I've accepted as a person. I don't know why you can't. I mean, I know it's hard and it's bad for your goddamn right-wing Republican agenda to admit something, but maybe once just take the loss, and if they want to support a group or they want to support an ideal that's different than yours, you don't get the chance to just basically try to stick them on an online harassment list or a doxing list just because they don't agree with you. I would like to just seriously know what anybody thinks this list would be about. If it's not about potentially harassing or doxing these people, then what is the idea behind it? Is it to just put together a list for fun? Because at the very bottom, he has the share option, which means he wants you to propagate this. He wants you to spread it, to keep this message, you know, rolling. So if it was just a list to make a list and you felt that you wanted to do it, why would you push so hard for people to share it? Unless it's not a list and it's not just for fun and it's to harass and dox people. It's so weird. It's like that, yeah.
Hit list.
Yeah, it's like a little schmosh hit list that you just want to make to go out and do whatever you want. It's so weird, you know what I mean? You just made it for fun, but then you put the share option at the bottom. And not to mention, it's so funny some of the ways he goes at people on this list. To each next one of a name that he shares, they have a location on the graph, which you can actually go through, say 264 number, so you can reference which page it is so you don't lose track of who you want to find and kill or murder on the street. But also it has these nice little sly comments, you know, and it's so funny that next to Markiplier you had to compliment him because you couldn't fully go at somebody and say that, oh, he's doing this and just put all your cards on the table. You had to put if chocolate had a voice because you're also a pandering coward. So you had to be nice and at the same hand smack him in the fucking back of the head, but then shake his hand afterwards. Also, I can't remember, how old is Charli D'amelio? I think isn't she 17? Almost 18?
Who?
Charli. So that means that you're calling a minor or a freshly 18-year-old a thought to prove your point. Let that sink in for a second.
That's a child.
That's a child. Do you really think you're on the side of right when you call a child a thought? I mean, I'm not the PC police, dude. And I call people thoughts all the time. But here's the thing. I don't do it publicly on a giant list. And I don't do it to a child, essentially. You do because you're a prick. And that's why. Just because you're a prick. You know. I assume that your kids don't send you Christmas cards anymore because every time you do, they go over there and you share your Trump ideals and berate them for being liberals. And I know that some people are going to say, well, that's just his opinion. What's so bad about it that he put this thing out? It's not so much the list itself, it's the idea behind the list. That every time that you don't like a certain political clause or climate or some sort of statement that someone makes, that you can just put them on a harassment or a doxing list. One political ideal that they didn't exactly agree with and spoke out about. I think that's just a dangerous precedence to start, and I think that you're going down a rabbit hole that's not good for anybody. I mean, if you really think about it. But yeah, I just want to make a short video about this douchebag. Like I said, I'll put a link to his actual thing, his hit list, or whatever it is supposed to be, in the description. So you guys can see it for yourself and see I'm not exaggerating. If you say these people are traitors, I don't think you know the definition of traitor, dog. If you like, I put it up here. It's in the video. It's a noun, you know, it describes certain people. Benedict Arnold, they were traitors. People who actually turncoat for their country and cause, you know, harm or try to cause espionage. Those are traitors. These are people who just sincerely saw something that they didn't like and had to think outside of their own perspective for a little bit and see that maybe some of these statistics that we see that are actually factual are something that we should think about from time to time and not just ignore someone else's point of view. Even if everything we do and they do is wrong, at the end of the day, the fact that they went outside themselves to try to consider someone else's opinion and feelings and trials and tribulations just shows the kind of heart they have compared to yours. Because while they were there trying to help someone else, you were in a dark basement typing up a internet hit list.
What up, nerds? My name's Kyle. I love Creed, Nickelback, and all sorts of college rock stations, man. And your girlfriend. I just wanna share the love, man. Okay? With you. Love you.